everyone. My name is Josh. This is my buddy Zach. We're both trainers here at the Y. So today we're going to do a little leg workout, and I'm going to have my buddy Zach here demonstrate real quick. So we're doing a goblet squat, and I want you to pick a weight. You can use a dumbbell if you have one, or you can get like a water bottle filled up with sand or water, whatever you need. And we want it to be heavy enough where you do anywhere from 10 to 30. If you do more than 30, it might become more of like a cardio exercise. So we want something that like makes it hard and like you're close to failure. So he's going to go ahead and use this. He's going to step up on a plate. You can use a textbook or a block of wood, something to elevate your heels here. And we're going to have him go ahead and squat down. So go ahead and go down and then back up. Okay? And so what this does is it allows him to sit back and go ahead and come to the side miles real quick over here. All right, go ahead and go down. So if you see, you can go way further down into knee flexion. So when he comes back up, come back up, he's going to be recruiting more muscle fibers, so he's going to be doing more work here at the quads. So that's why we're doing it like this. And especially if we don't have like a barbell, using lighter weights, we can make it more challenging by doing something like this. So go ahead and go again. And it's more so isolating the quads because the hips are not flexing that far back, so we're not using the glutes too much. And once again, we're going anywhere from like 10 to 30 here. And also make sure to push your knees out as well, because a lot of times people can have knock knees or knee valgus when they come in. So you want to think about pushing them out to the side when you're coming up too. So just keep that in mind.
Alright guys, so next we're going to go to the RDL, Romanian Deadlift. It's a variation of a deadlift. So first we're going to explain the hip hinge movement, which is really important for your RDLs. RDL is a hip dominant hamstring exercise. So hip hinge, what it's going to look like. These are the cues that I always go through with all my clients. Squeeze the shoulder blades, chest up, core engaged, and you're going to push the hips back, alright? Hips back, squeeze, and keep your toes pointed forward. What I like to tell my clients is think about opening and closing a door. So the door is coming open and then close shut. And really think about squeezing the glutes at the top of the movement. So open the door and close it. Josh, what are your cues that you like to work?
So I like to say like grab like a broomstick, a dowel, something like that. And then we'll put it in the back of the head, the mid back, and the butt, touching all three of those. And then just bend over like this, keeping in contact with all three.
Here and here.
And then returning to the top. And you should feel like a pull in the back of the leg, your hamstrings.
Yeah, you should feel a deep stretch. What you're really doing, and this is the lowering phase of the exercise, you should really feel that deep stretch in the hamstring, and then the concentric is the coming up. So yeah, how about we do it? So I'm gonna grab the weights here. So same thing like the squat, any kind of implements you have, dumbbells, kettlebells, sandbags, any of that kind of stuff. So good posture, squeeze. I like to kind of have the dumbbells kind of at the front of my legs like this, and you're just gonna squeeze the shoulder blades, push it back, feel that stretch, come up and squeeze the side.
So one thing I like to mention when I'm doing it is don't worry about getting the weights down low. Think more so about getting your hips back first and then letting the weight come down as a result of that. Yeah. A lot of times people tend to just kind of like bend over trying to get the weight too low. Yeah. You really only need to go like down below the knees.
Yeah, right around the knees. Because if, say, you're just trying to get as deep as you can, then you have a tendency to do something like this. And see, put the dowel on my back. I'm not keeping those 3 points of contact. And you're putting a lot more stress on your low back, which is not what you don't want to put stress on your low back. You want to put that on your hamstrings. So that's the bilateral movement. If that's a little too easy for you, there's a unilateral movement too. So we can do a single leg RDL. With this one, you want to hold the weight in the opposite leg that you're stabilizing with. And same kind of cues, squeeze the shoulder blades, chest up, push the hips back, down, back up.
What about the rep range?
Rep range, just dependent on the weight you have, but anywhere from like 10 to 30, just like the squats. If you could just blast a ton out and go up above 30, try and get heavier weight, or really try and focus on that mind-muscle connection. Really work on squeezing the muscle at the top of the range of motion, like the glute.
Slower eccentric as well.
Slower eccentric works too. Yeah, really focus on that stretch. Really, what you focus on is that stretch and the flex at the top. Stretch and flex. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so next up we're gonna do some slider leg curls. Now we already did a hamstring exercise, the Romanian Deadlifts or RDLs, but that was more so a hip dominant exercise. And the hamstrings, the bicep femoris crosses the knee. So to do a complete leg workout, we want to do something that curls the leg as well. Now, you can do it on tile, at home, tile or wood, something like that. You can do it in socks. And if you have a pair of sliders, that's great. If not, Ziploc tops work, or you can use just socks on the tile. Just something that can slide. So as I say, go ahead and lay back, and then he's gonna come up, and then slide out, and then curl back in, like so. Really digging in, activating the hamstrings here. Anything to add, Zach?
Yeah, really important here is the posterior pelvic tilt. So when you're curling, you want to make sure you're tilting your hips back and squeezing your glutes, squeezing your core. You don't want it to shift forward. It's going to put more stress on your low back. So make sure tilting back, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core, keep it nice and stable when you're sliding back and forth so you can really activate the hamstrings.
Okay. So now we're going to do some glute isolation work. So Zach's going to go ahead and do a glute bridge for us. So he's going to get down on his back, just like this. And then he can also be up on his heels as well. I find that that helps kind of digging into the floor a little bit. And I'm going to have him elevate up, almost like I have strings on his hips and I'm pulling him up like this. And he's going to extend his hips, just like that. And we can also use a weight placed right here on the hips across like so. And you can do it 2 legs at a time, or you can do it unilateral, so 1 at a time, which makes it quite a bit harder. So go ahead and straighten that leg out, just like that, keeping a nice, neutral, engaged spine as well. Anything to add, Zach?
Pelvic tilt on this one too, just like the ones we just did, the hamstring curls. You want to make sure you have that posterior pelvic tilt, especially for this one because you're really trying to engage the glutes. So, think, if you're not used to the posterior pelvic tilt, just have your hands on the hips like this, and just get used to pushing them back and forth like this. Just get used to that tilt, and you can feel it when you have that posterior tilt. You can feel your glutes squeezing. So at the top of the range of motion, you're getting that good squeeze together, and that's what you really want to focus on.
One more thing, make sure you don't have your feet too far out. You don't want to be like out here like this. Get your feet, walk them in towards your butt, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, if you have them too far out, you feel it more in your quads when you extend. So if you're feeling it in here, you should feel it more in the glutes, maybe the hamstrings a little bit. If you don't normally do them, you might feel in the hamstrings a little bit. It's called co-contraction, because your hamstrings do kind of help with hip extension, which is what you're doing. So you might feel in your hamstrings a little bit, but if you do it more often, you feel it just in your glutes.
All right, good. So the last exercise we're doing is Jane Fonda's, or like laying leg abduction. So we're going to be hitting the glute med, which is the muscle kind of like on the side of our hips right here, and it's oftentimes like underdeveloped and like unactive. So that's why we need to like make sure to do it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down, just like this. I put my head on top of my arm like so, straight, and then raise up like this.
So remember, you can check like by his foot here. It's really important that you don't externally rotate. You like externally rotate as you do it. See how his toes are pointing more upwards. So that's gonna engage more of your glute max, which is the big muscle in your glute. But you're getting those with your hip bridges. So we're really trying to focus on that glute med and even that glute min, which does the adduction, so make sure your toes are pointing forwards. While you do that, you feel quite a bit of a burn on this one.
And you can do like a little second pause up here at the top as well. That can kind of help get that mind-muscle connection as well. Instead of just kind of swinging your leg through, you really want to feel an active contraction right here on the side of your hip. So go up and squeeze, hold for a second, and then return to the bottom. So that wraps up the workout. Make sure to do a general warm-up beforehand, get the blood flowing, get warm, and then go into the exercises. Do about 2 to 4 sets per exercise, anywhere from like 10 to 30 repetitions. And make sure you're getting close to failure on each one, anywhere from like, oh, I couldn't do more than 5 more or more than 3 more. That way we're getting enough stimulus to grow. And then make sure to do a cool down afterwards, just something light, maybe some static stretches to hit the muscles that we just hit. So,
and keep a lookout for our upper body workout. It's coming out real soon, as well as I have a Turkish Get Up video breaking down that, and all our Fit Zone classes are going to be up there, about 2 of those a day. So.